the NFL, but are tied for the third best odds to win the Super Bowl. The odds are Detroit, Philly, then Buffalo, and then KC tied at 3. Then Bruce Ravens far back there. Nick,
I'm surprised they're actually at 5.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm happy.
Well,
not for me, but just for me.
Steelers?
Well,
the Steelers would have a case.
you
I
could
guess
put other
Minnesota
teams
would
just
have a
because
case.
of
their
record.
All right. Do you want to go here, or do you want Brew to go? Do you think it's disrespectful to the champs?
Well, it's not only disrespectful, it's wholly unprecedented across all of sports history.
That's interesting.
So think about this. There has never been a defending champ, much less a two-time defending champion, who has the same star player, the same coach. It's not like when Elway retired, you know what I mean? Anything like that. Who, while defending their title, has the best record in the sport, and people are like, second-tier contender.
Yeah, that's true.
It's never happened. It wasn't the case with Steph defending his titles when they were awesome the next year, LeBron defending his, Michael defending his. In football, it was never the case with Brady, ever, where they were the defending champs, were awesome in the regular season record-wise, and people were like, nope, they're not the team. And so, of course it's disrespectful, because it's never happened before. And here's what's so frustrating to me about it. There is any of the buts that should go along with it, aside from we wish they were blowing people out, don't apply here. Yeah, well, maybe they've had an easy schedule. No. Actually, they play in the division that's going to have 3 of the 7 playoff teams. And how have they done against playoff teams this year? We can show it to you. They're 4-1. Only Pittsburgh has more wins in the whole NFL against teams in the current playoff picture. Oh, they've gotten incredibly lucky with injuries, and now they're just getting hurt. No, actually, before October hit, down wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, running back 1. All of them. 2 of those 3 guys are either back or coming back already. Only Rasheed's done. Their star player isn't what he once was in Patrick Mahomes. Well, that's not the case either. If we show you Mahomes either in the fourth quarter or since they got DeAndre Hopkins, either one. In the fourth quarter, he's been good, not vintage Mahomes. That rating's pretty damn good, just the touchdowns are low. But really, he had a slump at the beginning of the year. Either it ended and they added DeAndre, or it ended because they added DeAndre. Those are his career passer ratings 102. This year, in the last 7 games, it's 100. So none of it makes sense. And so it is, to me, purely media boredom. And so, I find it disrespectful and I find it ridiculous.
I'm going to take your historical precedent and raise it to prove why it's not disrespectful. The reason they aren't the favorites is because they are trying to do something no one else has done. That's what no one in 58 years has won 3 straight Super Bowls. I think that's a huge factor, Nick. If they didn't win the Super Bowl last year and they're 11-1, they might be the favorites. But I think there's a part of people that's like, this has never happened. Not with Tom Brady, not with Terry Bradshaw, not with anybody else. So I think that's a factor. They're trying to do something that's never been done. On top of that, they don't look good. They're winning. They don't look good. All right, they've got the 6th best point differential in the AFC. The AFC. They got the 3rd best point differential in their division. So, I mean, in Detroit, you just showed the stat about playoff teams. Well, Detroit was undefeated against playoff teams, and so was Pittsburgh. So I'm just saying they're 3rd. I don't think you can argue with putting Detroit ahead of them. And who was it that was Philadelphia is playing really well, too. So I just think it's the historical precedent combined with how they've looked, which isn't great. They've been edging bad teams.
Can I say something about the
point
differential? If the Denver Broncos have a better point differential than the Kansas City Chiefs, is that an indictment on the Chiefs, or is that an indictment on using point differential as a metric?
The Chiefs. Because you can go by the history, and it shows the value of point differential. Doesn't mean it's foolproof.
Yeah, okay. So now he wants to say that point differential doesn't matter and all that because it's inconvenient to his own, fabricated, truth. Okay. I got some of my own graphics that I just Oh my God, I cannot wait to show you. I am so excited for this one. I am really, really, really excited, and especially because he just now mentioned about the Denver Broncos and how they're not, they're not that good. So okay, and all of that. So first off, let's start with this, okay? Because he's saying, "Oh, this is unprecedented. We've never seen this in history." Well, we've also never seen a team that has 11 wins, 11-1, that has this. They're the worst point differential of all time with a record like that. Okay, so yeah, that's also unprecedented. Okay, so that's why you have things like Kansas City with the third best odds. Okay, I don't care what happened. You're saying, oh, they're defending champions, and they were the year before that as well. It doesn't matter. What happened in 22 is not 23. What happened in 23 is not 24. So just stop it with this nonsense. When people are looking at these odds, they're not factoring in, well, look what Patrick Mahomes did in 2022 in November 14th, and look what he did. That's not how it works. They're evaluating what the team looks like today. And he knows that. So when he talks about it being media boredom, what are you talking about? These odds are not based off of media. It's mathematical. It's what is more likely to happen, and he knows that. He's a gambler. He plays poker, and when he talks about the history, he knows because he goes to casinos. You see this at certain games. Casinos will have previous rolls or previous numbers, like for any of the games where it's like where it's like God, I can't even think of the name of it right now. It's just kind of crazy. Roulette, okay? They'll have this kind of like digital thing that tells you the previous rolls, right? It'll say it was black 17, red 12, and you'll see like 5 reds in a row, and you'll say, oh, this is due to now to land on black now, or something like that. And it's no, okay? It's a statistical fallacy. It's an illusion. It has nothing to do with anything. The odds are still exactly what are the same moment to moment to moment, because you're not looking at say, well, hey, like it's a 50-50 chance, and if there was 5 reds, then the next one statistically should have a greater chance of. That's not the way it works. It's complete nonsense. It's fake. You always ignore those little things that you see if you ever go to a casino. It's nonsense. So what the Kansas City Chiefs did in 2022 and even 2023 doesn't mean anything. It does not mean anything. Now he talks about, oh, they beat, the second most playoff teams. Okay, let's look at that. They beat the Ravens, who Nick Wright has consistently said the Baltimore Ravens are not that good, and Lamar Jackson cannot play big in big games. So that game, not impressive. Beat the Falcons with Kirk Cousins, who Nick Wright thinks that Kirk Cousins and the Falcons right now at this point, the Buccaneers with all their injuries are going to end up winning that division. So not that impressive. Beating the Chargers 17-10, where literally Justin Herbert was injured and hobbled. But again, also, are the Chargers this great top team? Nick Wright doesn't think so. Now they beat the Broncos. Pretty sure Nick Wright does not believe in Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos either. So again, where are those impressive wins? He doesn't even think that Bo Nix is a franchise quarterback. And again, they won 14-16, 16-14 with a blocked field goal. We all know how that goes. Now the actual good team that they faced, what happened? What is this? Oh, that's right. They lost. They lost 30-21. And then another non-playoff team, because again, if you want to play this playoff game, this whole like, oh, they didn't play playoff team, well, a non-playoff team, they beat by a whopping 3 points. Another non-playoff team, they beat by a whopping 2 points. So again, if you want to play this game, we can do it. We can do it if that's what you want to do. But now he talks about, this is ridiculous. Patrick Mahomes only had a bad start to the season. He was in a slump or whatever, but he's actually really good. And he uses Patrick Mahomes' fourth quarter numbers to show it. Okay? This is what he says. And he says, and that's a darn good passer rating. Look at that completion percentage, total touchdowns. Okay. Who's a quarterback who he just said he does not think is good, or a franchise quarterback, and is a rookie on not a great team? That is the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix. Well, look what we have here. Bo Nix, 72% completion percentage. That's more than Patrick Mahomes, eh? Total touchdown to interception ratio, 6-1. 6-1. Passer rating, 110.9 to 102.3. And I quote Nick Wright saying, that's a darn good passer rating. So which is it? Is Bo Nix actually a great quarterback? Kind of Mahomes-esque? Or do we want to say that maybe using fourth quarter stats are actually not indicative of how great you are? Because he just said, hey, you know what? If the Denver Broncos have a great point differential and better than the Chiefs, maybe we shouldn't use that as a reference for how good a team is. Well, if Bo Nix has better fourth quarter stats than Patrick Mahomes, well, then maybe we don't want to use fourth quarter stats as a reference as to why you're a great quarterback. Or you have to admit that maybe Bo Nix is a great quarterback. So which is it? Which poison do you want to drink? Which path do you want to walk down? The choice is yours. Either way, you're going to be wrong. That's just the reality of the situation. That is just the reality of the situation. And it is pretty funny. It is pretty funny. So which is it? Honestly, which is it? You can't have it both ways. You can't just pick and conveniently say when you want stats to have your back and be on your side. And then when the stats are inconvenient to you, to say, well, then these stats don't matter because if the Denver Broncos have it, well, then it's clearly not. Okay. Well, we have a perfect quarterback comparison with the Denver Broncos quarterback, who you said is not a good quarterback, having better stats than Patrick Mahomes in the fourth quarter. And yet you're using fourth quarter stats to explain why you think the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes are better than this and that and blah, 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 blah. Pretty funny, man. Pretty funny. Oh, man. We can play the stats game all we want. We can. And they won't be in your favor. Saying that the Kansas City Chiefs having top 3 best rankings to win the Super Bowl is disrespectful, insulting, unprecedented. Media boredom. No, this is media boredom. Acting like, clutching my pearls. Heavens to Betsy, the Kansas City Chiefs aren't the number 1 rated Super Bowl odds. This is a tragedy. Oh my God. We have to go to Fox. We have to go to ESPN. We have to take it to the top. We got to go to the president. We got to go to the White House. This is a disaster. Oh my God. The media. Fake news. They struggled to beat the Panthers and the Raiders. What are we talking about? The Kansas City Chiefs are a top team in the NFL. As the odds show them. Shouldn't it be disrespectful that the Buffalo Bills are the same with the Kansas City Chiefs, even though they just beat the Kansas City Chiefs? Being top 3 in rankings in Super Bowl odds is not disrespectful. Especially when you watch these games and see how they unfold. If the Kansas City Chiefs weren't even top 5, top 10, then yeah, that would be insane. That would be absurd. That would be crazy. But that's not the case. Top 3, not disrespectful. This is the reality. This is the reality. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Kansas City Chiefs? Is this disrespectful? Does this just make sense? Is this the reality of the situation? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.